Alright, we should be live. I actually didn't make the thumbnail yet. Let me go make one real quick.
Oh, dude, I see that picture you're talking about where everyone's crammed in there.
Yeah.
Is this the picture you've seen?
Yeah, that one.
Bitcoin's getting slapped right now, dude.
It's playing out a big macro bear div. I'd be very careful touching that. Like on the higher time frames.
Yeah, how low do we go, though?
Oh, let me take a look one sec.
Netflix hottie.
What's going on, Unfortunate? Alright, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it went down to 42. There's a lot of support at like 44, though. 42, yeah, 42 is a really big level. 42 to 42.5. What's going on, Native and Jacob? Yeah, there's like a big SR flip from January 2021, February 2021, and then the high of the entire range that we've been in. So 42 to 40,000 would be really nice. What's going on, Brianna? Looking like today is almost identical to yesterday. The sell-off was a little longer, but nearly the same pattern. You had a little bulldog on the lows, and now we're breaking higher. So if we can hold above the POC of yesterday, which is right around 443.32, we should be getting 444.30.
Yesterday's POC?
Yeah. No, we're going to get today's POC, but yesterday's POC we're holding on right now. The POC is bugged out on some charts. It's all the way up at 446.40. But my POC is still down at the bottom.
My POC today is at 45, 45 like 738.
Are you on the 5-minute?
30 minute. It's 45, 732.
On SPY?
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about Bitcoin.
Oh, sorry. I switched back to SPY. Yeah. Hey, Sarish and II. Sell-off touched the POC of August 5th. Yeah, we also have the... excuse me. We also have the weekly. So these black lines here are not this previous week, but the week before that. These are all the important levels. Value area high, POC, there's a big node here, and the value area low. And we bounced right off the POC, almost to the penny, from that previous week. Hey, Green, you said when looking for an 80% trade, how far back can you generally look for levels? You can go back as far as the levels are not being tested. So, or they haven't been tested. Like you want a clean profile that really hasn't been tested yet. So like if we were looking at today, you could look at yesterday because that profile hasn't really been tested. These have already been tested. They're overlapping. So you ignore the overlapping levels. And then if you go back, I actually called this out in Discord. So like all of these have been tested one way or the other, right? But then this one has not been tested. You see how there's no price action in that area? So you could go back all the way to that level, and if you held below 441.15, then you would be looking for 440.50. And we almost got that, but you bounced immediately, so it didn't give you that trade. Hey Shaz, I appreciate it. You said you just trade Bitcoin, but this channel is one of the best. I appreciate that. So yeah, long story short, Green, you just want to go back to where the levels are fresh. They haven't been overlapped or they haven't been tested very much. So technically, because today opened inside yesterday's profile, this is not an 80% trade. It's the same technique. So once we reclaim the value area low, which we are doing now, you can still look for the value area high. But it's not an 80% rule. It's not going to give you a very high strike rate. The technique is still exactly the same. You're looking for the other side of the profile. It just has a lower strike rate, probably closer to like 60, 65%, something like that. 80% would be like if we opened down here and then we shot back and reclaimed the low. Then we're going to go all the way to the high. You can also use it on the same day's profile. So if you're looking at today's profile, same exact technique. Once we reclaim the value area low, you're looking for the value area high. It just doesn't have the same strike rate. So this value area would have been a little higher probably. Let's see, developing. Yeah, actually it was right around the same area. So once we reclaim like this level here, you're looking for this level up here. You can see how, like I was telling you guys yesterday, we traded above the ADMA almost the entire day. Today was the complete opposite. We almost traded below the ADMA the entire day. And then we finally started to bounce above it. So this was a very bearish sell-off. Very, very strong to the downside. But then the bulls recovered nicely. Hey, Alan, I appreciate that. Crypto said, so for today on Bitcoin, we could have an 80% trade, but it didn't work out. Let's take a look. Let's see. Yeah, it almost worked out. You almost got the full trade. So I think you're talking about how we opened up like down here, and then we reclaimed the value area low. You would be looking for the value area high. We pretty much almost got that level. So that trade, yes, it did not finish, but you could have made over like 75 to 80% of that trade. So that's a pretty good trade there. It didn't hit your final target, but it did give you a very good entry, and it gave you a very good gain. So what this actually did, it's actually obvious right here. You see this? There was a big volume gap on yesterday's profile. Yesterday's profile on Bitcoin is a perfect example of a capital B. You have two dominant nodes, one node on the top, one node on the bottom. Like I told you guys in the series, this is a hybrid day, so it depends on where the secondary node is. That decides if it's bullish or bearish. So this is the first node, this is the second node. So this is bearish. The second node is on the low. What it does is it creates a void in the middle that acts as a volume gap. So you can either pop back into that level and test it and then continue the way that you were trading. So we were trading bearishly. So you would look for a bearish entry on that gap. Or it's going to stay in that area for a very long time and fill it in by shifting your POC to that level. We didn't fill it in completely, but we did fill it in a little bit. You see how that node generated right in that same exact gap? So right where that gap is, that node filled in. It didn't shift the POC, which would have been bullish. So if it didn't shift the POC, you're looking for the first trade that I said. You're looking for the entry to continue the way that you were trading already. You were trading to the downside. This is a throwback, and now we're trading to the downside again. So unless your POC shifts to that gap, you are still looking for an entry in the same direction that you were already trading. This is like it's like a bull trap. This is where the bulls want to fill in, but that's also where the bears want to sell. So you can have techniques where if you were looking at something like trading light, where you saw like the liquidity walls, this is where the bears would trick you into buying this by putting buy walls up. So they would put buy walls up and it would push the price higher, and they would keep bringing their buy walls up. But then once it got to where they wanted it to get to, they would pull their buy walls. So as soon as any kind of sell pressure came in, there's no buy wall to stop it from falling. And then it just nukes. If any of you guys were watching Bookmap or like Trading Light today, I'm almost certain that's probably what was happening. Appreciate that, Sane. Crypto, you said, I noticed that your profile is completely different than mine because I use Binance, so all exchanges, their volume profile is very different. How do you know to only trust FTX? You use whatever you trade. Whatever exchange you're trading, that's what profile you want to use. The only exception to that rule is if the exchange that you're using is like dog shit volume, like it has very low volume, then I would use a exchange that has high volume, like FTX. FTX has very good volume. Like if you were using like, what's an old exchange, like Bittrex or something, like something really old that nobody really trades on, you probably want to use like BitMEX or FTX. But the golden rule with most of these techniques is chart what you trade. So whatever you're trading is what you want to chart. That goes for indicators and volume profile and stuff. Bitcoin is selling off pretty hard here. So basically what I said is happening. You had the volume gap. It tried to fill in. It was actually a trap. And now we're heading lower. The signs that you were going to nuke here is not being able to regain this volume node. So this volume node is resistance. You also have a node right around here, same area. You could not reclaim these nodes. So that was your first sign. Then we lost the node that we put in. So we built our own node on the day, lost it. That's another bearish sign. We re-lost the value area high there. We re-lost the POC here. And now we are losing the POC there. So there are no bullish signs here, really. What's today? Tuesday. So we have Tuesday, Monday, Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, let me do that again. Tuesday, Monday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, here is last week's profile. So last week's profile, it's off by a little bit. Let me fix this. Not sure why it overlaps like that. There we go. Okay, this is last week's profile. Almost perfectly balanced, meaning we're not really finding a direction. So here's all the key levels of last week. We have the value area high, value area low, POC. We have a node outside the value area high right here. And we have a node outside the low. You could probably take this whole node right around here. We also have a node down here if you want to get every single level. Okay, so we can get rid of this. These are all of our key levels. Starting from here, we can trade these levels. So this was clearly bearish. We popped up into the node that we created kind of over here, and then we couldn't break through it. We tried to break through it. We got one 30-minute close, instantly rejected. So you could have shorted that if you wanted to, very high risk. Could have shorted the retest there, much lower risk. And then you would be looking for the value area high, the POC, value area low, and then you could look for these nodes too, right? If you miss that short, you have the reclaim trade here, falling back into the value area high. So once we traded outside the value area high and reclaimed it, you have an 80% chance to go back to the value area low, which we are about to do. 44,980, so just say 45,000. Your middle target has been hit on the POC. If you missed the retrace trade here, you have the throwback trade there, pulling back to retest the volume gap and the value area high of last week. Then we failed it. So you could have shorted that too. POC has been hit, so your first target's hit. Second target is the value area low. And then we have the nodes. No reason to be long right now. If you wanted to long, you would need to find support on this level, support on this level, or this level. You could long the reclaim of POC. That's a very weak long, though. Or you could long a breakout of the value area high. There's no reason to long here if we're looking at last week's profile. This would be for like your higher time frame guys. You can do the same thing on SPY, which I did. We talked about this already. I'll delete these levels. We can redraw them. But pretty much the same thing. We have Tuesday, Monday. We don't trade on the weekend, so you only take 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is last week's profile. Value area low. Value area high. POC. And then really, you just have a big gap here. There's no real nodes you want to watch. You have a node kind of right here. That's about it. And then there's no real strong nodes here. It's just volume falling off. So you would kind of ignore that. Same thing here. Volume doesn't exist up there. So no nodes. And we could do the same thing for the week before. So where did this end? Monday, Tuesday, or sorry, Tuesday, Monday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the week before last week. Same thing here. You take your 3 levels, grab the nodes that are outside the value area. So we have this node right here. And then we have like this node kind of right here. And then we can see how price reacted to these levels, which clearly we are reacting bullishly. I also called this out in Discord. This is the POC and the value, or sorry, the POC here and the value area high of not last week, but the week before. So for your higher time frame guys, that is a swing trade like entry you could take there. And then you're looking for the previous levels, right? We have the value area low, POC, value area high. So we reclaim the value area low. You could have taken profit there, but that's pretty small. And now we're looking for these levels up here, around 445.60 to 90. The Q's 1 hour here is really bullish. You have a nice little tweezer bottom. Getting a little bit of weakness from this candle though. Kind of failing the POC of today. Once again, if you guys are using the indicators, the OTS made this extremely easy today. You opened up gap down, but it was gray almost the entire time, indicating that the sell volume wasn't that strong. But then you turned red right here, and it showed you the sell volume was pumping up. And then you nuked, bottomed out, turned green, and we've been reversing ever since. So it looks pretty good for now. Another thing to watch if you guys trade the OTS is pay attention to the 30-minute and the 1 hour pivots on ES. The 30-minute pivots, the blue ones specifically, are very good at calling bottoms. They will give you little local bottoms as well. So like these levels here, these created local bottoms, but then they broke. So the way you would use these is if it puts in a pivot, tries to bounce, and then breaks it, that is showing you that the bears are really strong, right? So that's like a re-entry to the downside. So you have a re-entry to the downside. Same thing here. Pops up, fails, re-entry. And then we put in a new level, pop up. We have not failed yet, so there is no re-entry. But if we zoom out, look at these blue pivots when they come in. They are very often creating major bottoms. So pay attention to those pivots. And the 1 hour as well. The 1 hour pivots come in and they create nice bottoms as well. They have some price action that trades below them usually. But if you think of it more of a zone than an actual level, they show zones of major support. So for now, as long as we stay above 4413, this is very bullish. I think that's also a bull div. Yeah, it's also a bull div, and the Momo also called the bottom there. The Momo called the bottom on the 5-minute today, but it gave you one of the bull div bottoms where it calls the bottom a little early, and then it goes for a new low, but the new low creates a bull div, and then it calls the bottom again. So it tells you that this move should not have happened. This is a unhealthy move, and it creates a low, and then you pop up. If you look at the purple shading, easier way to do this is like this. You can see the last few major bottoms that we've had were warnings. These ones became bull divs. So same thing here, gave you an early warning. This move should not have happened. Gave you a bull div, popped up. Same thing here, bull div. That's a very good pattern to look for. Is if it gives you a bottom warning, but then it doesn't bottom, you always watch out for the bull div, because the bull div will almost always bottom. This was much better on SPY than it was on ES. Watch, I'll show you. You can see the bottoms coming in, bull div, and then same thing here, bull div. Hey, Nihal, I appreciate that. Have a good night, man. We just heard some calls come in. What's coming in? Had some crowd calls come in, 240s for September 3rd. Pretty big, actually, almost 1 million. Let's take a look at that. It's not too bad. It's kind of bottomed out. The earnings are coming up. That might be an earnings play. Let me post that in the Discord. September 3rd, 240s for about $1 million. The biggest plays that we saw come in today were the SPY calls. 448s for September 27th. Or sorry, August 27th. So these are very, very interesting. Keep an eye on those. They're just slightly out of the money, not too far. But they're about, what is it? Almost 5 million. He said, what's the difference between ES Mini and SPY? ES is the futures. They run almost 24/7. They're not exactly 24/7, but they're almost 24/7. SPY is the actual equity. It's an actual stock, so it only trades from 9:30 to 4. You can trade it after hours and pre-market as well, but it's a normal stock. ES is a future contract. Price action wise, they are near identical. Omid said, do you call a double top for ES on the 1 minute? I think you're asking if there's a double top. Let's see. Do you mean right now or like before? Right now, this would look... for now, it looks like a cup and handle, not exactly a double top, because it has a cupping pattern. But it hasn't put in the handle yet. It would have to bounce like right here. If it bounces right here, it's bullish. If it doesn't bounce here and it goes towards the low, then it's bearish. Because basically, if you take the cupping pattern, the handle has to be about 50% or less. It can't go like 50% lower than this move here. Typically, I like it to be around like 382. So like if we took a fib here, I would like it to be around right where it is, 382. Not much lower. But that's just a 1 minute, right? So can't do too much analysis on the 1 minute. But yeah, for now it's pretty bullish. You see how it's popping? If it holds here, this is good. We'll keep an eye on this. We'll see how it plays out. If the double top is more dramatic, so like we go up and then like go back up like this and then dramatically sell off, like that's more of a double top than like if you go up and like cup slowly. Like if you cup slowly, this is not that bearish. Notice how it's popping? If you see that cupping pattern there, that's more bullish. It's trying to break this level, but it just doesn't have enough enough volume. This is kind of what we talked about, or SPY. Never mind. I was going to say, if it was pushing into a tail here, it was kind of what we talked about before, where if you try to push into a tail and you don't have the volume, it's going to reverse. Oh, this is not a tail. This is still inside the profile. Rob, you're going to have to be more specific, man. I have a lot of indicators on my chart. Which indicator are you asking about? The one that's repainting the bars? That is the Oasis Trading Suite. So here, I'll hide all my other stuff so you can see exactly. That's this one here. It's repainting the bars, it's giving the dotted line, and it's giving these dotted horizontals. It's also giving these little arrows here. These are buy the dip signals. There's also these arrows here, the sell the rally signals. That's all from this one indicator. Everything else you see is a different indicator or from my drawings. Like these are all drawings. So now it's looking a little weak. You've got a tweezer top on the 5-minute. You were not able to break out even with that kind of cupping pattern. So now it's looking more like a double top. How's Dixie doing? Dixie looks ready to explode, to be honest. This is the biggest worry that you should have if you're trading equities. Because Dixie is, it's not exactly inversely related, but if Dixie starts pumping, it usually scares people a little bit. It's not like VIX, where like if VIX pumps, then the market usually goes down. Dixie's kind of like that, but not exactly. But look at the weekly on Dixie, look at the monthly. This thing looks ready to rip. The daily's breaking out of resistance. Looks really good. If you want to trade Dixie, you can't trade Dixie exactly. You can trade UUP. This is the bullish ETF for the dollar. You can see the charts are nearly identical. This was also creating a bear div here. So you had a bear div forming up here. So this would be a cup and handle failure. You see how it's perfectly cupping? You put in the handle, popped up, you could not break out. So this would be considered a weak high. Like I always tell you guys, when it breaks out of a level, but then it tops out right after breaking out, that's a weak high. So then you're most likely going to pull back. Is the dotted line on the OTS a moving average? Not exactly. Very similar formula, but it's not exactly a moving average. You would use it the same exact way that you would use a moving average. What do I think about Kroger? Let's see. Very nice flat top on the 5-minute. Oh, it's exploding here. This is a nice move. Well, I had this charted out. I think this was a... Yeah, this is an old level. So off this kind of range that we had here, these would be your breakout points. We had the around 41 area, and then we have around 47, then 54. Yeah, it looks really good. Breaking a weekly pivot, exploding on the daily. You can't really buy it up here, but if you're in the trade already, you're coming into a target zone around 45 to 47. Any opinion on gold? Yeah, it's dog shit. The worst asset of 2021. You might as well just throw your money in a fireplace. Gold was rated the worst asset investment of 2021. Even Dime earlier today was saying how dog shit silver was, and he's a silver bull. The guy has like over 100,000 in silver bars or something, and he was saying it was dog shit. That's probably a good sign you don't want to trade metals. Thoughts on Airbnb? Looked really good on Friday. Opened very weak yesterday. This level here that I marked out around 153, that's where we needed to break. And we couldn't do it. So until it gets above that level, it doesn't look good. What's my honest opinion on Bitcoin and Ethereum? I think they're topping out on the daily. I've been saying that for the past few days. This is a bear div, 100%. It's playing out a bear div on a higher time frame. So the lower time frames are trying to bounce, but it doesn't have enough to break the high time frame bear div. Momo bear divs on Bitcoin and Ethereum are extremely high strike rates, so you typically do not want to fade them. So this putting in a bear div here, it wouldn't really be played out unless we pulled back to like 44 to 42. So I would at least want to see 44 at the highest. Ethereum is basically following Bitcoin. Bear div rolling over. You've already lost the flat top. This put in a weak high. Same thing I just told you guys. Break a high, sell off right away. That's a weak high. So a weak high here. Most likely going down to like 3,000, maybe 2,800. So at the highest, I'd want to see 3,000. Lowest, 2,800. The bot was taking profit too. So when the bot's taking profit, that's something to worry about. This is the first time the bot took profit on the entire move on Ethereum. So that's the first time the bot found a resistance, a strong resistance. It found some smaller resistance levels here and here, but they didn't last, so the bot didn't care. This level is lasting, so the bot is considering this weak. Same thing on Bitcoin. The bot took profit here, became weak, broke out, take profit, take profit. So there's weakness here. If you guys are trading high time frames on crypto, you literally just need the bot. You can take everything else off your chart. What do I expect for Kroger after the flat top? It looks good, man. I think it's going to keep going up. It's just really hard to you can't buy it here. Like you're buying so high, but it looks like it wants to go higher for sure. I'd say as long as you stay above 45. 45, 44.80. Should be okay. I think Lulu's breaking out. Just hit my scanner. What's it doing? Bouncing a little bit. Jonathan said, what were the levels for Bitcoin? 44 and 42. Nice little pop here on SPY. Forgot to hit my buttons today. You guys like the video, make sure to hit that like button. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. Missing in action. I don't talk about my P&L. One thing I've been saying since I started streaming is I try to get away from all the other gurus and finance people who just flash their gains and flash their accounts. Something I've never been into. The farthest I'll go is sometimes in Discord I'll post some gains in our gains channel. If I'm having like a massive day, like we called out something big. Like we did the earlier this year. We were doing a small account challenge on penny stocks, and I hit like 150% in like a week or something. It was like 4 days. I posted that. Like I post stuff like that if we're having like a killer week or something. Like going absolutely nuts. I prefer to show our members' gains. Like on Twitter, JMA and I, we haven't done it recently. We used to do it a lot. We used to show off kind of our gains channel on Discord, how our members are doing. I think it's more, it's a better reflection on the group itself. I am thinking about doing another small account challenge though. Probably once I'm all settled with the new house and everything, get everything situated. Probably within the next month or two. We haven't done one in a while. We used to do them like every few months, if you guys remember. We've done like, I don't even know, probably over a dozen at this point. The last one we did was on the penny stock one earlier this year. The last one we did on stream was the Webull one. We hit 145%, I think, on that one in 30 days. The penny stock one we hit like 150% in 4 days. So we got a lot to beat, right? The next challenge that I do will probably be a 30-day challenge, only trading SPY, only trading like volume profile stuff like that. Tom, they post their losses every now and then, for sure. We don't have a losses channel, but we definitely have members post their losses in the community chat. Sticky just posted a loss the other day. It was like 40 grand or something. He recovered that though. The guy's got big balls, man. He held a position that was down like 40K on Ray, and he's green now. You're not saying us, you're saying other clickbaiters. That's very true. Yeah. It's very true. I also post my losses when they're big. Like I posted my gold losses and silver losses, I think, this year. Those positions wrecked me. I haven't had any massive losses besides those this year. What else did I have? I had that's really it. We had silver and gold. I think we had a few small EV plays. I had losses here and there on like small stock positions, but nothing major. The biggest losses of the year by far, silver and gold. Thankfully, it's only giving up the stuff that I made last year on silver and gold, which sucks because it was one of my biggest gains last year. I took a loss, I think, on, I think another one of my big losses was we tried to take a breakout lotto on Tesla, and that didn't work out. Thankfully, it was a lotto, though, so I don't put too much money into lottos. I've always said that posting like big P&Ls and big gains, like personally, like if I post my stuff, it's attracting the wrong crowd, and it's so easily fakeable, it doesn't even matter. Like, you guys should be questioning every single person on Twitter that posts their P&L, because it's literally 2 clicks of buttons on your desktop to edit those pictures. Like, you just go to inspect element and you can change whatever the hell you want on the exchanges. So you guys should really be questioning anybody who posts these massive positions and massive gains, especially on their crypto positions. It's harder to do on equities. You can still do it, but crypto is literally inspect element. You can do whatever you want. You can change every single number on a crypto broker, FTX as well.
SPY strong coming in this close.
Yeah, not bad. A little 2 minutes left till the close. SPY's closing right around the middle of the day. Not too bad. You said you were short on gold for the entire year. It was one of my most profitable trades. Nice. I wish I was short on gold. I longed gold early. It started to play out almost immediately, and then it faked us out, so we lost that trade. And then I bought longer term gold, which I was willing to add on to, and then gold kept going down, so I added on to it, and then I finally just cut it. It just wasn't doing anything. I did the same thing for silver. We bought silver. I left room to add. It went down. I added. It went up for like a few days, and then nuked. The problem with gold and silver is it would always go up for a few days, and it would look really good, and then it would lose like 5 days worth of gains in one day, and then rinse and repeat. It would look really good for a week. It would lose all of its gains in one day. So it like tricked you. It tricked you to stay in the trade, and they buried you. All right, there you go. There's the close on SPY. It was actually a pretty good close. Nothing too crazy like we had yesterday. But closing right around the middle of the day. It's probably right around POC. Where's the POC at? Yeah, literally on the POC. So that's not bad. It's kind of like I was telling you guys on stream and in Discord. This whole area right here, this like 446 to 443, is a big volume gap on the weekly. So if it wants to hang out in this area for a whole week, that's not bad. That's actually very healthy. So we could see like try to break out, pull back. Try to break out, pull back. It's going to hover towards this like 445 to 446 most likely. Hey Omen, have a good one, man. Appreciate you stopping by. It's also a close outside last week's value area. Well, right now we're inside last week's. Last week is from here to here. Or do you mean this close here? This one, yeah. Yeah, so this one closed outside last week's. So you could take the breakout trade, but this is why I don't like the breakout trade. I like to trade like retest. I would have waited for a retest to see if like we retested it or if we built a nice little node. We were trying to build nodes, but they were happening too fast, right? Oh, you mean this close right now? This is inside. This was outside. This is inside. But yeah, so like this one here, very nice trend. building beautiful nodes, but you never retested them as support. Yeah, if I take last week's profile, I can show you. We have Tuesday, Monday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're inside of it currently. It's actually looking pretty good. This would be easier to do on ES. Because ES runs almost 24/7. So like we have Tuesday, Monday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we are still inside the volume profile, or sorry, the value area. Or trying to break out of it. The ADMA was quite helpful today. Yeah, the ADMA is one of the best. It's probably, I wouldn't say the most used. I'd say the 200 EMA is probably the most used across all markets. It's probably 200, and then the 50-day, and then either the 8 or the 21. Which is all the ones that I have on my chart. I don't have the 21, but there's the 8, 50, and 200. We bounced off the 200 on the 30-minute. I called this out this morning if you guys were in voice chat. I said we were testing the 200 EMA on the 30-minute. There you go. Do I ever use Whole? I tested out Whole when I was coding a lot, and I was trying to find like the best equation for moving averages, like the smoothest. I liked it a little bit, but not too much. If you like that style of moving average, I recommend using the McGinley dynamic. The McGinley dynamic's not bad. If you like that more kind of unorthodox way of formulation, instead of just doing like the simple average. SPY bounced off the last Tuesday POC perfectly. So all you guys that are in here talking about like volume profile levels, value area, POCs, did you guys know how to trade volume profile before, or are you going off of the series that we did and all the videos that I've done? Are you guys learning from my content, or were you guys already trading volume profile? You were learning from my series, Alan? Nice. Have any of you guys watched all the videos for the volume profile stuff and got the Markets and Profile book? Has anybody started that book? Young African said he learned it all from my content. Dom said off my series. Nice. I'm glad you guys are taking that information from the series and actually applying it. You started it last night? Nice. So the last 2 videos are still not edited. I still need to finish those up. I edited them, and then YouTube screwed me, and I lost all my edits, so I had to redo them. And I hate redoing stuff, so it's I've been pushing it off. That's why my video was so late on Sunday too, because YouTube just screwed me this weekend. They were having like uploading issues. It's really irritating. You took a lot of notes on my series. Nice. You did read the book, Young African? Nice. Did you finish the whole thing? That book's pretty fat, man. It's a big book. It's a lot to take in. I think I've only read the entire thing like one time, and I've gone back and skimmed it a few times but I think I've only read it like start to finish once. It's pretty bulky. It's a lot of information. But yeah, I recommend once you guys have like soaked in all the information from that series and you're ready to learn more, read the Markets and Profile book by Dalton. And you'll have enough understanding that you'll be able to understand what he's saying in the book. If you try to read the book immediately, it doesn't do that good of a job of explaining it. Like if you're someone who doesn't know anything about volume profile trading and you start to read the book, it's gonna blow your mind away. Like it's you're gonna get blown out. You're not gonna be able to read it. But if you have a little bit of information going into it, it should be a lot easier. If you type in Markets and Profile PDF into Google, there are a couple sites that give you the PDF like online version. Just be careful, don't get a virus or anything. But there is an online version. It's also on Amazon, I believe. Oh, you haven't finished it? You're starting to read it? Yeah. It is a lot, dude. It's a lot. It will take you guys probably a while to read it. But alright, guys, I gotta get out of here. I appreciate you guys being here as always. Like I said, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to go check out my How to Trade playlist on YouTube if you guys are new to trading, you want to learn some more stuff. There's about 25 videos on there. Make sure if you guys are new to check out my Summary of Markets. I put it out on Sunday. It's a weekly watch list video we release every single Sunday. All of that content is 100% free. I've got hundreds of hours of live streams on my channel as well for you guys to learn from. So make sure to check that out. If you guys want to trade with us live, make sure to check out the Discord. It's at oasistrading.io. You can use code LEARN, all caps, for a small discount. We have multiple tiers. We have a $30 tier, $199 a month, $499 quarter. The quarterly comes with all of our indicators. So if you guys are interested in any of that, make sure to check it out. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. You guys are in Discord. I will be posting analysis later tonight. So look for that around like 11 o'clock. It's going to be a little late tonight. But check that out. I'll post levels on all the things that I'm watching. I didn't add anything to my watch list today. I was going to add Penn, then I realized it was already on the watch list. So Snapchat as well. But we'll talk about that later tonight. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning if you're in the Discord. If not, I'll see you guys for stream. Peace out, guys.